You mentioned something about escape, and I just can't figure out why this is so uncomfortable. Like, people get into bad relationships, addictions, all kinds of drama just to not be here. I'm not talking about it now. I just don't know what's all this diversions about and goals and recovery and that nonsense.
Only a search for home. In whatever form that arises, then that's grabbed hold of as though it's some sort of, it's either an answer or it's a way of comforting that which can't find home and doesn't want to live in the me, really. It feels uncomfortable in the me because it's schizophrenic and uncomfortable, and it'll try and escape into the list.
Yeah. There's definite fear there, though.
Fear?
Yeah.
Oh, huge, yeah. I mean, directly separation begins, fear is absolutely married to it. Because I'm now separate, and then everything is out there and can be threatening. That's why the brain creates an artificial me, because it believes that it sees through the body and assumes that the world is separate, so it's threatening. So separation is married to fear, so that the me grows up in the fear. That's why it tries to know everything and be in control of everything. And that's why it also tries to escape from the fear of itself.
So, everything that's done to try to assuage the discomfort of the energy that is tangibly trying to not do anything but this.
Anything but this. Anything but this.
So, because energy seems to transform and change, by its nature. So sometimes there is the sense of change. So there is the illusion that if I sit with the discomfort, or and it can transform. But would you say that all of that transforming energy keeps you more locked in? I mean, there's nothing I can do anyway, but it's such a trap, or it feels so appealing to continually at least transform the energy, because a change, it's like getting from cold to hot, at least it's different.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then there's a sense of illusion of progress.
Yes.
Or of getting somewhere.
Yeah, which keeps you screwed into the horizontal circle you live in, called your story.
And I know the answer to this probably, but when that drops, let's say that there's a knowledge that it's pointless and hopeless and it's just transforming energy, and that is there anything that happens? Checkmate.
But like someone said about the recognition of the hopelessness, there's a freedom in seeing that. There's also a freedom in watching the dilemma, and seeing the trap.
Yeah, there's that sort of freedom. There's a state of feeling free in those situations, but it's still all in this.
Right. So it just occurred that it's kind of seen that it's still happening in the psychosomatic apparatus, and that it's still like the discussion of freedom and stuff is really irrelevant.
Oh, totally.
Because
absolutely.
Because it's still in.
The only thing that sharing this, sharing the story with nothing, is that some sort of light comes into it. It brings a light into the apparent story. Sharing it with the nothing that it is brings a light into it. When it's shared with something else which is also in the dark, then it just goes on maintaining the darkness.
Yeah, it seems like there's some sort of value in the, just the sort of, I wouldn't say confession of it, but sort of like just being honest about.
Yeah, but sharing what's going on, whether there's honesty or not, brings the light into it. But the value that is there is not for anyone. So in a way, there's no value. A thing is only a value to a me. The me wants something that's valuable. This isn't.
Yeah, I mean the words are possible.
Yeah, they are. They are. But something else comes out of this, you see. Something else, but it doesn't have any value because it extinguishes that which wants value. But that extinguish, that death, that annihilation is salvation.
I guess another way of saying it's just the exposure.
Yeah, of the dilemma.
Yeah, but in instance to instance, you know. I mean, we sort of understand the big picture.
Well, we're exposing the dilemma here. That's what's
right,
happening.
Right.
But we're exposing it for nothing.
Right.
Okay. If we were exposing it to get somewhere with it, I mean, just forget it. We might as well go home.
No.
That's the difference. That's
for the pure delight of exposing.
Well, yeah. Maybe.
There's just a big difference between freedom and freedom. When the me looks at freedom, it thinks it has a concept of what that is.
Yeah.
But it can't, because the me is in limitation. It is limitation.
Absolutely.
And freedom, as what it really is, not from a meing perspective, is just this immense force that
which is indescribable.
is totally,
totally
unabashed, and it can't be stopped by anything.
No, and it can't be known.
It doesn't know the concept of stopping or anything.
No, because it is already everything anyway. So why would it stop and where would it stop? But of course the other thing about the me is that if you asked me what freedom was, it would give you a list.
Oh, absolutely. So not free.
You can't tabulate, you can't measure boundless freedom.
And still the me gets some sort of a satisfaction out of the idea of freedom.
Yeah.
And, you know, when the message is heard by the me, it feels a little bit liberated, and the social pressures might recede just a tad. But it's still, for a little while, and it's still just no freedom at all.
No, none at all.
Has nothing to do with the freedom, which to me is like the same thing as when you use the word unconditional love. It is so beyond everything that the me tries to conceptualize.
Yeah.
And freedom is just another word for the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
And can also be conceptualized.
Yeah. Wholeness, oneness, freedom.
As soon as you try to explain it, it's not free anymore, or it's not unconditional anymore.
No, you're measuring it, yeah.
And there's a sense of underneath absolutely nothing. Like just complete blank, nothing.
Yeah, but this is also that. It's not, you know, that emptiness isn't underneath. This is it.
This is it.
I mean, I find myself holding on to the things that you say sometimes and making those.
Oh, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.